Hey, thanks for listening to the 54th episode of the Unlockable podcast, where today Hannah and I are going to finish off a 3-part series of our favorite video games based on the alphabet. This episode covers letters S through Z, but if you missed our first 2 episodes, you can check them out. They are episodes 41 and 46. The only other thing I wanted to mention before we start is November's episode will mark 5 whole years of the podcast. We'll be celebrating and holding a giveaway, so keep an eye out for that. But that's it. Thank you for rating and reviewing the podcast on your platform of choice. Let's go. Welcome back to the Unlockable podcast. My name's Christian, and I'm joined as always by the Game Girl Advance SP herself.
That's me.
That's a 6-syllable thing that I have to say every time. Game Girl Advance SP.
And you nail it flawlessly every time. You're a pro.
Oh, I've had 54 times to practice it.
Man.
Not including all the mistakes and mess ups, and I have to re-record the intro.
See, I don't think you've ever messed up on my name specifically. I feel like you mess up on other things. You're like, good.
What's up, dude? I see you got the North Carolina wearing apparel today.
Yes.
What you been up to
I am.
this
I'm
month?
wearing a North Carolina, whatever their baby blue color is. I went there to visit my brother. He had an operation, and so I figured it was perfect to wear the North Carolina, because he went to UNC, which is like their big hospital group up there. And I was like, well, I guess I can brandish the baby blue colors. This is for like UNC, which I'm obviously not a fan of. Big football fan, and they're like kind of not rivals, but like, you know, FSU all the way. But I like the color, and it's nice. So I bought a sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's a nice blue for sure.
Thank you. Very baby blue. But yeah, I went on a trip. I visited my brother because I said he had an operation, and then I traveled all the way to Canada. Can you believe that?
That's pretty crazy. Did you learn French?
No. And it's so weird. We went to like really touristy parts of Canada. I was only there for 2 days, so we went to Banff and Canmore. But not a whole lot of Canadians work there. It's like foreign people kind of come in, and these like hostels and places pay for their room and board, and they just work there, and then they can do whatever they want in the evening, obviously. But yeah, so I met not very many Canadians at all. I think the most friendly Canadian, and the one that I talked to the most, is because it's their job, is the Border Patrol. He was lovely. He was so fun, but he stares you down, making sure you're not doing anything bad coming into Canada. That was scary. I'd never done that before.
Well, did you do any game hunting in Canada?
Absolutely not. No, I looked it up, the only like big game stores, or the big city that I was next to that we could have gone, but it was like 2 hours away, was Calgary. And there were some there, but we didn't go there. We were very, very west of there. So no.
Well, that's cool.
Not a one. It was very fun.
You had to enjoy the world outside of video games like a normal person.
Yeah, I touched grass, as they say. It was awesome.
Well, I have done a whole lot of not traveling at all. I've just been working.
Right.
I have my friend Tyler coming in next month, October. We're going to go to Retropalooza in the Dallas, Arlington area.
Ooh.
That'll be fun.
Is that your first time going?
Yeah, so they have Retropalooza every year in 2 spots. They have it in like the Dallas area, and then they have a Houston one like a half an hour from my house. Mm-hmm. So I've been to the Houston one 2 or 3 times, but apparently like the Arlington one is like the good one, because that's where the Game Chasers live, and this is their convention. The YouTube channel, the Game Chasers. They have been putting on this show for probably like a decade now.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's at a convention center. I think it's the Fort Worth Convention Center is where it's at. So I'm excited to check that out. Should be a good time. Got a group of friends that are going, and I'm excited.
That sounds exciting. I assume it's like not just video games. It's like a bunch of cosplay and anime and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, usually these things aren't just video games, though I wish they were.
Right.
But you know, they have all become they've all started to like mesh. You know, people love to sell those freaking. Oh my gosh, I'm so sick of seeing the freaking vendors that sell the beautiful art. You know, like
Yeah.
what are those called? Those are prints.
Mm-hmm.
Like good for you. I'm happy that you're selling stuff and you're making profit off your drawings and your paints and stuff, but I'm just not personally interested in it. And I mean, those things are like $30 a pop, right? Like, I could buy a video game for $30, or, it's just, I don't know. They're distractions in the way of what I'm
Mm.
really there for.
So what you're saying is you're not an appreciator, oh my god, of art.
uh, I don't know how to answer that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, looking forward to it. I'll just be going on Saturday. That's how I usually do it at conventions. I don't usually do 2 full days. I usually am good after one day at a convention.
Well, usually you get there the first day and you get all the good stuff, and then they don't restock the second day. They just leave their stuff, right?
That's what I think, but I don't know if that's true. I think a lot of people probably bring enough stuff so that on day 2 they have new stuff to show off, and I'm just missing out on all that every show I go to.
Oh, well, me too, because I've literally never gone 2 days to a convention, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. Gotta leave the deals for somebody else, right?
So, you did some good traveling, you're rested
Yep.
up, and you're ready for a hurricane that should be coming in any minute now, right? Is it
Yeah.
currently at your house?
No, not yet. I think it makes not landfall because Florida's weird, but it's gonna be in the Gulf of Mexico, I think, tonight, officially, and then it's gonna kind of mess up the coast over here a little bit all the way till Thursday. So school's canceled all the way till Friday. I'm not in school, obviously, but the schools around here are canceled till Friday.
Roger that. Well, let's get into it so you can go get your hurricane prep on.
Thank you. Get my tuna sandwiches and peanut butter.
Tuna sandwiches do not last. What happens when the power goes out? What are you talking about?
No, but you get the ingredients to make the tuna sandwich. Tuna and bread.
Okay.
You telling me you don't go out and get cans of tuna? That's a staple here.
Oh, that's true. It doesn't need to be refrigerated.
Mm-mm.
That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. For real. So today we're going to talk about, this is the third part of our Alphabet Soup series where we talk about our favorite games from A to Z. So there are 26 letters. We are on the final 8 today. So starting with S, finishing with Z. S is for sure the hardest, absolute most difficult. I have so many honorable mentions that are like top 20 games of all time for me in S alone. It's kind of crazy.
Dang. I'm sure we have some of the same.
Speaking of which, thanks for looking at my notes and ruining the entire episode. Typically, guys, for the listeners, we do things separately without cheating. And yes, Hannah looked at my notes because she hates the podcast and she hates me.
Why would you give me the option in putting it in the shared document? I just don't understand. It seemed like you wanted me to read them.
I always put the notes in there, and then immediately the first thing I do is remove access for you, so you can't see it. And I guess I didn't do that this time.
Whoops.
And apparently I need to be doing that since you can't be trusted, apparently.
Well, I was looking for the date. We always write the date which we're recording on top of the, just be fair, on top of the document. And I was like, okay, it's only his notes. Maybe he wrote it up there. Well, you didn't, and then I just couldn't stop myself from reading. But
You're
to
like,
be fair,
oh, maybe
I
it's
didn't,
in line 32.
to be fair, I didn't memorize all of it. I just kind of skimmed over it. So I don't remember exactly which ones you did. So it'll be a surprise to me too. I swear.
Whatever, dude. Who's going first?
I'll go first. Mine's very short because everyone knows about it. And I feel like I didn't really need to explain it because I've explained it a lot. And everyone already knows about it. It's Super Mario 64 for S. I could not bring myself to pick another game that most people don't know about. But I'll explain a little bit. Obviously, developed by Nintendo EAD, which is Entertainment Analysis and Development Division, which I didn't know that's what that stood for. Fun fact. Published by Nintendo, it's Nintendo's first 3D platformer and set the standard for 3D platforming of that era, and really any era, I guess. Released on Nintendo 64 in 1996, produced by Miyamoto himself. You can run, jump, kick, collect stars, kick Bowser's butt, and you save Princess Peach. All in Princess Peach's castle. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. I don't
Yeah.
think I need to elaborate. It's just, it's a goat. It is what it is. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to explain any further. Have you ever played, to spice it up a little bit, have you ever played the DS port?
No, I have not. But I feel like it's not as good.
I have also not played it. I can't imagine playing that game with a D-pad, dude. Are you kidding me?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Or a touchscreen? It just feels wrong to me.
But it does have freaking Wario and Yoshi and Luigi. I kind of want to check it out.
It would be cool.
Yeah. I
But
don't know. Never played it.
me either.
Obviously, honorable mention for me is Mario 64, and like pretty much everything that has the words Super and Mario in the title, you know?
Right.
But I have to go with Super Mario 3D World. I freaking love this game, obviously. This is debatably my number one game in the world that I've ever played. Like, I love this game to absolute death. I played it on Wii U. I recently got gifted the Switch port, and I played Bowser's Fury, which I think kind of counts as a separate game because it really is. Like, it has its own credits to roll. It's its own like 4-hour campaign, and it's not even the same gameplay. It's almost like a Mario 64 type game. Like, have you played Bowser's Fury?
No.
You would like it more than you do 3D World. It is actually a lot closer to 3D Mario's.
Really?
But I digress. We're not talking about Bowser's Fury. Yeah, this game came out in 2013. Nintendo EAD Tokyo branch, published by Nintendo for obvious. Platform was Wii U. Came out in 2021 on the Switch. And yeah, if you haven't played Mario 3D World, it is, I like to call it a 2D Mario because it is essentially you complete a stage by running to the end and capturing, like, not capturing, but jumping on the flag, just like every 2D Mario game ever. The only difference is you move X, Y, and Z in this game instead of just X and Y. It's as perfect as a video game could get, and Hannah agrees.
I don't agree, but I feel like every time you talk about it, it kind of makes me want to play it. And then I realize, well, my Switch is broken. I mean, my Wii U is broken, so I can't. Whoops.
As many freaking Switch games as you have, I can't believe you don't have it.
Why would I spend $60 on a game that I know I don't like?
That sounds like half the library of games in your room.
Definitely not. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you have honorable mentions or no?
I do, and so many. You want to know what the first honorable mention is?
Okay.
It's Shrek Super Party.
Oh, better than
smashes.
Mario Party?
Dude, I love that game. Yes, I think so. I really do.
Yeah, great game for sure.
I have such fond memories of that. The other one is Space Invaders. I feel like that's kind of a classic. I've played that in like every arcade ever since I was a child. Splatoon 2, also super great. Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64, great. I put Shin Megami Tensei 5 on here just because I'm not like addicted to it, but yet I've put 50 hours in and I can't stop, so you can gauge what that means. And also Simpsons Hit and Run. That's a classic.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about that game.
It is truly incredible. It is one of the, honestly, it's like the only, I feel like, video game adaptation of a show that's actually like worth a damn.
Bro, you freaking love the arcade game too. The Simpsons arcade game.
That one was fun. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that one too. Forgot we played that one. It's great.
Yeah. I have Super Metroid. It was not my first Metroid, but it was my first 2D Metroid. Freaking love that game.
Nice.
I have Super Mario World, obviously, one of my favorites of all time. I put Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That game I still can't beat because the final boss is painful, but 99% of that game is just incredible. Love that game.
Except for the boss. That's funny.
Super Castlevania 4. I don't need to talk about Castlevania. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I love me some Smash. I have always loved Smash since the Melee days, and I think personally, like, as someone who's not competitive, like on the tournament level, trying to like go and master and just be the best and play like all these Melee ripoffs like Project M, or not, people are gonna roast me for saying ripoff, but like all these like Melee, I don't know, I don't even know what to call them, but Melee adjacent games, these fan made games, I'm not into that, but I do love the latest and greatest Smash stuff. I love Smash Ultimate. I loved Smash Wii U when it was the thing. I loved Brawl when it was the thing. Like, freaking great series of games that everybody loves, and always a perfect party game. Yeah.
I agree.
Anything else for S?
Nope, that's it.
So, before you move on, I think some other popular options that neither of us mentioned: Sonic Adventure. We're like prime Sonic Adventure loving age, and neither of us is like a huge fan. You haven't played it, have you?
No. That's the one with the Chow Garden, right? And everyone's freaking out about. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Sonic Adventure 1. The Sims, pretty iconic. You ever play any Sims?
Nope.
You seem like a Sims gal. I don't know.
Nope. I hate the Sims. I hate the concept of Sims. It makes me just crazy.
Oh, okay. The Spider-Man games, there's like a dozen Spider-Man games that could probably be someone's top 10 of all time. Spyro the Dragon and Star Wars. Tons of Star Wars games out there.
Too many. No, I don't know.
Take us into the letter T.
Okie dokie. My one for letter T is Tony Hawk's Underground. Now, this was very, very close between Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, because I do love that one, but there's just something about Underground that's so much fun. Like, I feel like if I wanted to do like what are they, like 3-minute heats or whatever, like just a quick couple of rounds, I'd turn on Pro Skater 2. But if I wanted like kind of a more story driven, kind of grittier, Underground is it all the way.
Yeah.
So it released in North America on October 27, 2003 for the Game Boy Advance, the GameCube, PS2, and the Xbox. It also got a mobile game, which I couldn't imagine that being any good. But yeah, that came out in North America in 2003, the same year. It is the 5th game in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series after Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, developed by Neversoft, published by Activision. It's a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, so essentially, you're skating around, you're grinding, you're, doing manuals, doing all these tricks to kind of build up your special and get more points, blah, 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 blah. But what's different about this one is you can customize your character. So instead of picking from like pro skaters like Tony Hawk, Bucky Lasek, and all those others, you actually kind of get to like kind of role play in it a little bit. You get to customize your character, which is pretty cool. Also, this one actually has like a narrative. It's very simple, but it's still kind of cool. So like all the side quests and stuff that you do are kind of connecting in one overarching story. Basically, you're an aspiring skateboarder in a small town and you want to make it pro. So you film a demo and you try to like impress some of the pro skaters around in the area. So you travel around the world, filming and competing in competitions. And then a big part of the game is like filming a tape of you doing like your piece de resistance move that's going to make you go pro. And the tape actually gets stolen by a vindictive skater and you end up competing with that person to get it back. Spoiler alert, which I did not know until I looked this up, is there's one ending of you beating that vindictive skater in a competition and getting the tape back, but there's an alternate ending where if you beat the game in more than 2 difficulties, I think, there's another cutscene where it shows you like beating the heck out of him and then just taking the tape back by force, because of course. So that's really cool. The other big thing about this one is you can actually get off your skateboard and kind of like explore on your feet. You can like climb up buildings and like get to ramps that you couldn't access other ways. Jesus. And then there are like cool different levels that are incorporated from the older games, like School 2, which comes from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, Venice, Warehouse, and the Hangar. But there's also like actual real world locations: New Jersey, Manhattan, Tampa, which is near and dear to my heart. It's about an hour north of here, Vancouver, Moscow, San Diego, Hawaii, and then there's one really really cool level which I love doing. It's called Hotter Than Hell, and it's basically like a stage out in the middle of the desert nowhere, and Kiss performs, and like they actually come out.
What?
The members of Kiss come out and perform on stage, and you can skate around the level and ride around this like little go-kart thing while they're singing, like while they're performing on stage. Very random, very cool, but it's cool. It's
That's
got a really
amazing.
cool vibe. It's very, yes, it's very good. I love that one. Like I said, it's kind of grittier than all the other games. Like there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's fighting. Obviously, you beat the shit out of the dude at the end. It feels more grown up than the other ones.
Yeah, dude. I'm a big fan of Underground 2. I never played the first one though. That would be something I should definitely add that to my list, man. That sounds like a blast.
See, I never played the second one. I only played the first one, but I can't imagine the second one being better.
Well, you definitely described, like, it sounds like there wasn't a whole lot of new stuff in 2. I mean, I don't know if I can say that, but it definitely like getting off of the board. Did you do graffiti in that game?
I actually don't remember. I don't know.
That's like a big part of the second game. You have to get off and like you have to get off to your board and tag a lot of spots. That's like one of the challenges in each world or whatever. But yeah, same thing with the RPG elements, creating your own character. Yeah, those are some great games for sure. I could totally. That was a toss up for me. I almost chose a Tony Hawk game for the letter T. But I had to give it to 2 Point Campus.
Oh no!
I thought long and hard about it. I thought long and hard about it, but 2 Point Campus, man, August 2022, developed by 2 Point Studios, of course, published by Sega. Came to all modern platforms at the time, and yeah, it's just a business simulation game where it's very fictional, but you go through different campuses, and they're all struggling, and you have to figure out how to get them back to making money. And it's everything that I didn't know I wanted in a video game. I didn't know that I was a big simulation guy, or not simulation. I didn't know I was like a management guy until I started playing this game. I bought both DLCs, still playing through the second DLC. Like, this is some of the most fun I've had in a video game. Like, I'm definitely going to explore the genre more. I'm glad that I experienced this. It actually came to Game Pass, and that's how I was able to check it out. And I think the only reason I installed it was that I had like very minimal exposure to Roller Coaster Tycoon as a kid, and I was really into that style of game. I wanted to do something like that again, or at least like, I don't know. I think I played it on PC via like a friend's burnt copy or something. Like, it was like I probably didn't play a whole lot of it, but I remember enjoying it a little bit. And I don't know if I brought this up last episode, but next March we're getting 2 Point Museum.
I saw that. I was just about to ask you about that. Are you gonna get it? Are you a museum man?
I am a 2 Point man, and if that means I have to be a museum man, then so be it.
Sounds like you would be a Sims kind of guy then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sims is like keeping alive one person and just like designing a house. I think I'm more into like managing and just like all the stress and anxiety that comes from like trying to keep a business afloat.
Right. Of course.
But yeah, I still have 2 Point Hospital to play. I own that one, and that game came out several years before 2 Point Campus, and I just haven't played it yet. That was when you were in Houston one time, and we went to the flea market. I got that for like $5.
$5. That was crazy. What a ride.
Yeah, love me some 2 Point. Would recommend.
Dang. What are your honorable mentions?
I wrote Tetris, like just in general Tetris as a series, because holy crap, what an iconic series.
Right.
And I wrote Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 specifically. I've talked about it time and time again on this show. I love Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yep.
Did you ever play the remakes?
Yeah, at your house. At your place. I played, I think it was on the Xbox. And then I have them, and I've played them a couple times, but I really wanted to play them multiplayer, and it was like a huge chunk of download. And then I got about halfway, and it was like, you don't have enough space. And then I haven't picked it up since.
Like online multiplayer?
Mm-hmm. No, like co-op multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Interesting.
It's silly, so I haven't picked it back up.
Well, you were pumped for like a year for that port to come out.
I know. It's like the anticipation is better than getting the game. I don't know what's wrong with me.
What about you for honorable mentions?
I too wrote Tetris, but I specifically wanted to mention Tetris 99 because that is just completely innovative. I love it. It is super difficult. I played it for like so long. Every time they have like a video game incorporation or one incorporated with it, like Super Smash Bros. Or Xenoblade Chronicles, I always play it because I want the music and like the fun tetraminos. I think that's what they're called. And so I get addicted to it again, and I was like, maybe like contemplating like actually getting serious about it, and then I get my ass whooped and get like 89th place every time, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. But that one's awesome. The other one I had is... Nope, that's it. You already said the other ones.
Yeah, I already mentioned 2 Point Campus.
Yeah, I know.
Popular titles we didn't mention: Tomb Raider, iconic series. Tekken, and the TMNT games have like quite a few that people are like obsessed with. Maybe not quite a few, but definitely Turtles in Time. People love that game.
I forgot about Turtles.
All right, take us to the U.
U was very difficult for me, I gotta say. I could only think of one U game that I've played, but there's a couple honorable mentions that aren't honorable mentions because I have never played them, but would like to play for sure. It's Untitled Goose Game.
Oh,
I'm sure you've heard
crap.
of it.
I should have put that as mine.
Everybody knows about it, at least if you've been on the internet for the past, 5 years. But anyway, it's a video game about a goose, and it's untitled. It's a 2019 indie puzzle stealth game developed by House, Australian developers. Worked on Push Me, Pull You, which released in 2016, published by Panic Inc. Gameplay, you're a goose, and so you get to do goose things around a small English town. You run, you flap your wings, duck, grab objects, cause chaos, peck your fellow villagers, all in doing like a set of objectives that you must do in order to move on to the next area. Later, which is how I played it, they added multiplayer where you and a friend get to be two geese and you get to cause chaos around this English town.
Oh, man.
And you get to complete all the goals together, which is a lot of fun. I played with my little cousin, and gosh, it was so fun just watching him like laugh and play and like just do all the things a goose would do,
I forgot about that update.
Fun facts about the game. The idea originated from a stock photo of a goose that was posted in the company's internal communications. They were kind of joking around about it one day, and they're like, wait, this could actually work. And alas, it did. Apparently, it was inspired by Super Mario 64 and the Hitman series. They wanted to combine stealth mechanics in a non-violent and comedic way. They also wanted their game to be 3D since their last one was only 2D, and so they got inspired by Super Mario 64, which we talked about. The game, as far as the name goes, it came from a last-minute decision in preparing the title of the game as an entry at a games festival. So they're like, what do you want to call it? And they're like, I don't know. And they were just like, okay, Untitled Goose Game it is. And it stuck. The other name that they were kind of floating around was Some Like It Honk. And I don't know why, but that title makes me laugh every single time I say it. Some Like It Honk? But anyway, it has kind of a cult following. It was super big when it first came out. And it even received a physical at some point, which is what I have.
Dude, the development behind that sounds just as chaotic as the game itself.
Agreed. Super fun, super charming little game. It's not super long. It's obviously not very hard, but it's like, it's different for sure.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite U game. I'll go ahead and stick to the one that I wrote down, but I loved my time with that game. That was so funny.
Agreed.
Okay. I wrote down UN Squadron. This is a Super Nintendo title from 1991. It came out on computers actually 2 years earlier in 1989, developed and published by Capcom. It's a side scrolling shmup, whereas most Capcom shmups at the time were vertical, this one was horizontal. This is a title that I actually got in a lot from someone on OfferUp probably 5, 6, 10 years ago at this point.
Nice.
I remember getting like 6 games for real cheap. This happened to be in there. And it turns out it's a pretty beloved shmup. It's not that expensive. Typically, this genre just like fetches a lot of money, especially developed by Capcom. This one's pretty common. You can get it pretty cheap, $20, $30 for the cartridge.
Okay.
But you choose between 3 mercenary pilots, each with their own ships, and they each have like slight differences. You earn money in this game, and it's level based. Between levels, you can buy a new ship or purchase various weapons for your ship, and it's very beginner friendly. You know, we've talked about how shmups are like insanely hard a lot of times, but this game is not one hit kills. You have an energy bar that depletes as you get shot, and it's a great starting point for a lot of people that are trying to get into shmups, I think, because I still suck at them, but they're so fun.
Is it multiplayer or only one person?
Pretty sure single player.
Nice.
The music is a big like draw to this game. It is unbelievably good. Capcom really didn't miss with soundtracks in the 80s and 90s. I haven't beaten this game, but it is really good. I've put a few hours into it. It's a Super Nintendo game. You have to start over every time you die. There's no saving or anything, so that's the age of the game for sure.
No. Hate that.
In this one, I don't think I wrote it down. Oh yeah, it's based on a manga series of the same name, so that's cool.
Didn't know that. That's neato.
People might be screaming at their... Well, you're probably going to mention this in your honorable mentions, so go ahead.
Unravel 2?
Oh, I like that game too. Yeah, that was fun.
Or is it Uncharted you're thinking about?
Yeah, I was going to bring up Uncharted. We haven't... I played the first one, but it wasn't my favorite.
Have never played any Uncharted games. Unravel 2 is one that I want to play at some point, but I actually haven't opened it yet. And that's the only other ones I can think of for you. What am I missing?
All I wrote was Uncharted.
Oh, or like Ultimate Street Fighter or something. Like some of them Ultimate games. I'm sure there's tons of those.
You should save Unravel 2 for like one of your friends to play co-op. That was a really good co-op experience.
That sounds fun. Yeah,
really fun.
We'll do that one time. The other one that I have that I've never played is Ultimate NES Remix. But never played it.
Yeah, Uncharted 2 is apparently where the series like picks up and people start to really obsess over the series, because the first one kind of dated when I played it a few years ago. I beat it, but it wasn't my favorite. But I'll have to play Uncharted 2 and we can revisit my favorite U game.
Nice. Right. I feel like this is definitely going to change in the next 5 years. At least some of them.
All right. Let's hear the V's.
Okay, V was also difficult for me, so I had to pick a game that I only played the demo of and quit it because I didn't really like it that much. But it's Valkyria Chronicles 4.
Oh, dang.
Yes, it is a tactical RPG, which everyone knows I love. Developed and published by Sega with assistance from Mediavision, who are best known for Wild Arms and Chaos Rings. Released in North America on September 25th, 2018 for the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. It even, believe it or not, released on Stadia and Amazon Luna. So this game is everywhere.
Dang.
It's an RPG with cool-looking anime characters. They're fighting in a war with guns and tanks and all sorts of fun weapons. So if that's your thing, it's your thing. The series has been around since 2008, with the release of the first game just titled Valkyria Chronicles on the PS3. I thought it was an older series, but apparently it's not. Gameplay, so I don't like tactical RPGs, but like I saw the anime characters on the cover or like all the promo art, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. So I downloaded the demo of it on the Switch, like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. It might even be 6 years ago when it first came out, probably. The story is like any other anime game. It's like super involved. Any other RPG, it's like, you know, you interact with a bunch of characters, you get to know them, you get to love them, and then they die, essentially in the war.
Dang.
It's not like other tactical RPGs like Fire Emblem. It's not like on a grid-based system. It kind of is, but kind of not. It's like, it's a little more free. Like, it's an active war zone, right? So there's like rubble and like sandbags and stuff you can hide behind. So it's not grid. You can kind of like move to strategic areas if you want. Like if you're a sniper, obviously you're going to want to go to higher ground, blah, 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 blah. But it's still like in your tiny little area. It's still turn-based. You take a turn, they take a turn. You know, there's a bunch of different weapons to choose from, so it changes up the gameplay a little bit, but it wasn't for me. I think I played, I'm not sure how much they offered in the demo, but I think I only played it, I gave it a solid hour. And then I was like, no, it's not for me. But, you know, like an RPG, you level up, do this, upgrade your weapons, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's super big over here, but it was pretty big in Japan, so Sony released a limited edition PS4 console themed around the game.
PS4? Wow.
Yeah. So, not big over here, but I guess it's big over there. V was hard. I didn't know what to do.
Well, that game, I'm pretty sure in the last month got announced by Limited Run to get a physical on Switch.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Or it was like the first one in the series. I really don't know. But I think you're right. I think I do remember seeing a Limited Run release of it.
I think it has its fans, but that's pretty crazy. It's a PS3 game originally, and it got a PS4 limited edition in Japan. That's pretty funny.
No, the first one came out on the PS3.
Oh, okay.
The fourth one came out on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Gotcha.
I don't know where 2 and 3 are.
I own the first one. That's like one of those games that is so cheap, so common. You see it all the time on PS3. I like the cover art, though. I can see why you were drawn to it.
See, it's very pretty. It's very misleading. Yeah. It's not misleading. I knew exactly what it was when I looked at the back, but the covers are so pretty. They all are.
So I spent the last month almost playing my V game, Visions of Mana.
I knew it. See, even before I looked at your notes, I knew it was going to be this one.
I didn't know it was going to be this one. I also didn't know how few games started with V that actually mattered in this world, but
right.
Visions of Mana came out August 29th of 2024. It's developed by Ouka Studios, Ouka. It is published by Square Enix, and it's on Xbox Series X, PS5, and PS4. I just found this out when I was taking notes. This game came to last-gen PlayStation, but not last-gen Xbox, which is a really weird choice. Unless Wikipedia is wrong. That could totally be it.
Right.
And it also came to PC, because of course it did. It's an action RPG. It is the 5th mainline Mana game. It was a day one pickup for me. I got my beautiful golden steelbook. Very excited about that.
Beautiful.
You play as this guy, Val. He's a soul guard who was selected to escort a group of chosen individuals to the Mana Tree. These chosen individuals in the game are called alms. And if the world doesn't sacrifice 7 alms to the Mana Tree every 4 years, then the world will like fall apart, evil will prevail, typical RPG stuff. Story is pretty enticing, even after I just made that joke about it. It's pretty cinematic. Everyone is fully voice acted, which I think is a first for the Mana series. Like,
that's exciting.
Like, it is pretty exciting to see like this much money went into the game. Because I know like we just got a remake of Trials of Mana maybe 6-7 years ago. There was that Secret of Mana remake, but this one is like a brand new game, a brand new story. It's fully like HD 60 frames a second. Like they really put some money into this game, and it's nice to see that for a series that just like seems to be barely hanging on by a thread over at Square.
Oh.
Um but yeah, it's a huge step in the right direction for the series. It's an action RPG. It's open world, but it's like you constantly know where to go. Like no matter what time of day it is, what you're doing in the story, there is a star on the map saying this is where you go next.
Right.
And I don't hate it. I don't love it for that. I think it's kind of weird. Um I'm not the type of guy that wants to be walking around aimlessly looking for the objective, but also it's like it almost feels like it's just hand fed to you a little. I don't know. I think that might be the norm these days. But
Yeah, I say so. I mean, there's always big pointers on the map. Now, how confusing the map is, or if like there's only one way to get somewhere, I guess makes a difference. But if it's all like flat land and one path gets you places, then yeah, it's pretty easy.
but it is open world. There's constantly stuff you can. Like, there's tons of side missions. There's a lot of other stuff you can do, and you can go to the objective whenever you're ready. Progressing the story, opens up paths for things in the previous like areas that you couldn't have accessed before, which is cool. Just like in past mana games, you have 3 people in your party at all times. You can change classes and party members at any time outside of battle, and your character has like one of 3 weapon types depending on their class. Every character can have like 12 classes or something crazy, maybe 8 classes, like, and you can just switch between them anytime. It's pretty cool.
That's neat.
Like if I'm about to go fight some really tough fire boss, I can switch one of my characters to be a water type, and it is very cool that you can just do that at will. Combat rocks. This is the best combat that the series has seen so far. I'm really happy about it. You have light attacks and heavy attacks. You have magic attacks. You got super attacks, clash strikes. All the good stuff is in there. It's not a super hard game. I haven't like gone out of my way to do grinding. I've just kind of done like the necessary. I don't skip battles on my way to the objective. And I've done a lot of side missions, and that has been enough for me to be like at level or higher than the enemies.
Nice.
I will say I'm about to finish it. I'm like 35 hours in. I've done a ton of side missions, and I don't think that it changes it's not a life-changing game. It's not one of those games that's like, oh, this is something you have to play if you're an RPG fan. It really pushed this genre to a new level. It really didn't, unfortunately. It's just kind of like, it's just a good RPG, a solid 7, which is, it's fine. I'm happy that a series that I really like put out a solid 7 game, but it's not a 9, it's not a 10. There's nothing groundbreaking here, and it's hard for me to recommend it to other RPG fans who are just like looking for the next best thing. I don't know. It's pretty on par with other RPGs, I would say.
Well, that still makes me want to play it.
Yeah.
Not being sarcastic.
I think I could totally see it coming to the next Switch 2 for sure. I'm sure they're waiting for that.
That would be fantastic. I'd definitely play it. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel for me to want to play it. I don't want an RPG that's super like new, and not all the time, of course. Super new, and like I gotta learn all these other things and all these other really complicated things, but sounds fun. I'd play it.
Yeah, I would love to chat about it if you ever get to play it.
Definitely.
Any honorable mentions?
No, I had problems finding Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah. I played some Beautiful Joe back in the day, and I've played the sequel as well. I would not say that it was an honorable mention for me. I like the games, but no, I'm good. Visions of Mana for sure over Beautiful Joe.
Dang.
And
That was it.
Virtua Fighter is another big V series that I don't know the last
Oh.
time they got a new Virtua Fighter game.
Never would have thought of that one.
Um, I would say the last thing to mention is I might have said this before, but Uka Studios might be shutting down. They literally
What?
released this game, and like the day it came out, there was like a news article that was like, "Yeah, this company might be getting shut down."
No, really?
So they've
Dang.
never developed any mana games in the past. This was their first mana game, but it's like owned by some mega conglomerate Chinese company that's just like, I don't know. They're seeing that this developer is not, I don't know. They're not making millions upon millions of dollars, and so they're like, yeah, it's probably time to pull the plug.
Oh, that sucks. I wonder if they'll just be like dissolved or whatever into Square.
Yeah, we'll see.
Dang. Well, that's sad.
Yeah,
Bummer.
ended it on a bad note there.
Yeah, well, anyway, W, right? I only thought of 2 games for this one. I thought of a whole bunch of ones that I've never played before, so we'll get to those in a second. Honorable mention right out of the gate, Wave Race. I love that game. It is super great, but like, does it have legs to compete against this other one? I don't think so. How many races can you do before you get bored? About 4.
I'm proud of you for choosing the non-nostalgic route here. I thought for sure it was gonna be
Thank
Wave
you.
Race.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I chose another one that I recently discovered is something that I like. It's WarioWare. Specifically, Get It Together.
Heck yeah! Is
That
that
one's
the
fun.
latest or the other Switch one?
No, it's the first one. I think Move It is the latest, which I also have. I just haven't played it yet.
Gotcha.
It's considered a party video game, which I guess is correct. Developed by Intelligent Systems, you know them. They work on Paper Mario, Fire Emblem, and Advance Wars. It is the 10th installment of the WarioWare game, or series, which
Dang.
I didn't know. It's following WarioWare Gold on the 3DS. If you'd asked me if there was a WarioWare game on the 3DS, I would have said no. I don't know why I would have said no, but there is one. I think there actually might be multiple, I don't know. It released on September 10th, 2021 for the Switch. It's the last game to feature my man Charles as the voice of Wario before his retirement.
Young Chuck. Dang.
Young Chuck. So sad. Anyway, the scenario in this game is that Wario and his friends got sucked up into a gaming device, and so they must participate in these little micro games to get themselves out. You participate in macro games like we know the WarioWare games are, and must complete a set amount to progress to the next level. I don't know if the other ones are like that. I assume that they are. The one that I played on the GameCube, I think it literally just throws you into the games, which is very similar with this one, but I feel like this one's set up more like level based. Am I right
Yeah.
in consuming that? Yeah. Anyway, like the other games in the series, you only have a couple seconds to complete whatever the task is, so you really got to think on your feet, be super, super fast. You might as well just have your fingers moving as soon as it turns on, no matter what you're doing. Bunch of different characters with all different move sets and abilities, so it adds a little bit more difficulty. You get to pick up to 3 per like little level that you have, and then it randomly selects of those 3. And I think you unlock more as the game goes on, so you kind of have to be good at all of them, which is unfortunate because some of them I freaking hated, and every time
Yeah.
I randomly matched with them, it was like, ugh, we're gonna lose and have to start all over again.
Yep.
But like I said, it adds a mode of difficulty there. They're fun little mini games. Some of the ones that stand out to me is tweezing the body hair off of a Greek god statue. That one's hilarious. The classic boss scene of the original Super Mario game, where you have to get the axe at the end of the bridge to beat Bowser. That's a fun one. There's all sorts of like little callbacks like that. Like one of the ones
Yeah.
was select the correct GameCube disc and put it in the GameCube. The correct disc being the Wario ware disc. Squeeze toothpaste onto a toothbrush, which seems really easy, but it's not when you have a horrible, horrible character that you pick. Or also like keep up a stack of ice cream that's falling, like a giant stack of ice cream on an ice cream cone. Just silly little things like that, but you really got to think quick. There's tons of references to like legacy games in that as well, so it's kind of fun to be like, oh, that came from this, or oh, that came from that. Not that you have a lot of time to like sit there and appreciate it, but they're there. I played this one. It's not a very long game. I think me and my friend beat it in a couple evenings of playing. But, like, I think it can get frustrating. None of the games are super difficult, but it can get frustrating if, like, the person's not, like, thinking on the same wavelength as you. They, like, go to do the same thing that you do, or they do something completely opposite. It's like, no, why would you do that? Like, obviously you're supposed to do this. So you can definitely get on each other's nerves, but super fun, super enjoyable time.
Yeah, dude, I think you bought me this one years ago. I played through the story. It takes like 3 hours tops. Like
Yeah.
that might be pushing it. It's a short series. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's a short campaign. Every game in the series seems to be like that. But I did like there's like these weekly online challenges that you can do. You can compete in. They might. I'm sure they're continuing that at some point. But that was a cool feature.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, great game. I need to play some more WarioWare. Sitting here talking about it makes me want to fire it up after this. That's a fun one. I would like to play the new one too.
Me too. I have it. I just haven't opened it yet. So very excited to add that to my repertoire of game night games.
That's one I've never like played multiplayer really. I bet it would be fun.
Really? I've only played it multiplayer. It is very fun. Would recommend.
Let's talk about Wii Sports.
Ooh. Oh man. I didn't even think of that one.
This
Good one.
is this game requires absolutely no explanation. I think more
Right.
people have played this than any other game on the planet. um,
Right.
it launched with the Wii, obviously, in November of 2006. Developed by Nintendo EAD, published by Nintendo. Platform, the freaking Wii. It was a sports game where you could play bowling, baseball, boxing, tennis, and or golf, all in the power of motion controls on that
Ah,
brand new Wii that you just got for Christmas.
beautiful.
um, I I have just such fond memories of playing this game with like family, friends, everything and anything in
Literally
between.
everybody.
Like people like have never played video games would play this with you. It is just like the craziest thing. I remember the whole era of just people launching their Wii remotes while bowling into the freaking
Mm-hmm.
TV, and it was a huge debacle.
Yes, it was.
um,
And the memes of the music.
yeah, dude.
Beautiful.
Everything about Wii Sports is a 10. I loved just like doing the training stuff by myself if nobody was over. Like I would love to just like the training games were so good, like even better than just
Agreed.
like straight up bowling sometimes. They were awesome.
Agreed. I
You
have
could
to
like
say, boxing was my favorite. I
dang,
know that's a controversial opinion there, but I even bought like boxing gloves so that you could strap them in and then box people for reals.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Um I don't think I disliked anything on this disc. I was a big fan of boxing. I mean, maybe baseball was my least favorite, but everything was
Mm-hmm.
great.
Agreed.
Um,
It is so classic.
yeah. I think forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, definitely my favorite W game. There are some great W games out there. Do you have any honorable mentions?
The only honorable mention I already said, so no.
Oh yes.
Wave Race. Glorious series. Go play it if you haven't. It's jet skis. You're racing on jet skis in the water.
So just a few months ago, I played Wario Master of Disguise, which was a really
Mm.
fun game. I got to take Wii Sports over that game. Um, Popular titles we didn't mention. The Wario Land series is like beloved. People freaking love the Wario Land games, and I just haven't had I haven't had enough exposure to them yet.
Me either.
I'm sure you've seen this on like popular YouTube videos or something, but the Walking Dead a Telltale series is like
Mm-hmm.
apparently just amazing. I've never played it.
I've seen footage of it though, and it looks really good.
There's WWF games, which like, yeah, they're like annual games, but like back in the N64 day,
Oh,
people freaking loved their wrestling games, man. People loved
dude,
it.
I hate wrestling. I think it's so dumb. But like when I went over to my cousin's house, they had a Nintendo 64 and they had one of the wrestling games, and it was so freaking fun. Like smashing people's heads into the ground and like doing crazy jumps and things. So much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there
They
with
were so
you. Not
good.
a wrestling fan, but I have experienced some N64 wrestling action.
So good.
And Wolfenstein, which I have minimal
Mm.
experience with.
Oh, also The Witcher. That's a good one too.
Oh, heck yeah. People love that game.
I haven't played it.
Or that series, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Would love to play it. Do you want to take a stab at what my ex is?
Your ex, dang. What are the freaking popular titles? Oh, obviously Xenoblade.
Right, right. But which
3?
one?
No,
No,
it's 2. It's
two.
2.
It's two. Good call. Yeah, so mine's Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I've talked about it a long time. It will never change unless Xenoblade Chronicles 4 is like the coolest thing I've ever played, but I doubt it. It'll always be my favorite X. It's an action-adventure role-playing game developed by Monolith Soft. Came out on December 1st of 2017, so quite a while ago. It's technically the third entry in the Xenoblade Chronicles series because of Xenoblade Chronicles X, but that's like not really part of the trilogy, so it's technically obviously the second, which is confusing, I know, but you know, whatever. Gameplay, it's open world, story driven game, much like the first Xenoblade Chronicles game. It is not turn based, which is beautiful. But features a more open style combat, so you can lock onto specific enemies, but you can bail at any point, like just run away. You control a boy named Rex, who is considered a driver, who can use these beings called blades, which kind of look like normal people, but they're actually like come from crystals, they're called blades. You can control 3 of them at a time, but you can only use one of them at a time, and you kind of switch between them in battle depending on like how many you have. Like most RPGs, you have 3 drivers in your party, so there's 3 drivers with three blades each, who can assist you in combat. The blades are the kind of main combat mechanic in the game. There are over 40 unique blades and also like just like 5 or 6, I think, normal ones that have actually I guess there's 8 normal ones that have different attributes. So there's fire, water, wind, ice, electric, earth, light, and dark. All the blades have these kind of attributes. These affinities help you both in combat and in the overworld. So there are instances where like a certain affinity will exploit an enemy's weakness, and they also help you in the overworld. Like there's specific things that you can interact with, but you have to have like a blade with 3 for their affinity for ice, or like 3 for their affinity for water, and then it once you activate it, it like shoots you off like in a spout of water up into like a different level of a platform. So that's really, really neat. Also, like other RPGs, you have regular moves, special moves that need to be built up first. They all have a cooldown time. Then there's a party gauge, which once that is full, the whole party can perform a chain attack, and those are very, very, very important. If you don't know anything about chain attacks or like how to kind of get it to line up to do the big like bam finishing move at the end, you're going to struggle in every single battle that you do. So it's absolutely necessary. It's very confusing though. Don't ask me to explain it. I have to be playing it in order to like kind of see what you're supposed to do. Don't ask me to explain it. Some of the unique blades you can unlock are found in other Xeno games, so like Xenosaga and Xenogears. There's Cosmos and Telos, which are cool ones. There's also a DLC, like a challenge mode that features Shulk and Fiora from the first Xenoblade Chronicles game, which is kind of cool. And Elma from Xenoblade Chronicles X. You can attain those as blades. So, without getting anything too spoilery, all the games are connected. Bam. Gonna say it. So, that's kind of a cool, like, little introduction to that. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, excellent. Followed by Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and X, which I haven't played, of course, because my Wii U is broken.
The saddest day. Every time you bring that up, it just brings a tear to my eye.
It sucks. Really does.
Don't act like you would have played X anyway. You weren't gonna play that game.
I definitely want to play X. But the only thing is, my copy is sealed. So I would have bought an open copy so I didn't have to unseal my copy. Or I would have borrowed it from you. I definitely would have played X. Are you kidding me? Sounds awesome.
it like kind of baffles me how long we've been friends because I played a good 2 hours of Xenoblade when you were over here, and that was ages ago. I don't even remember when that was.
That must have been in like 2018,
Yeah,
2019,
that's
maybe.
crazy, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy that you have a game that you are so freaking in love with. It is inspiring, honestly.
It's one of those games I wish I could go back and play it for the first time. Like, just
Yeah.
forget everything about it and just be so blown away by it. And it's not even... I didn't even like, really, RPGs at the time. I saw Nintendo's, like, trailer for it, and I was like, okay, I'll give this a try. And I ordered the special collector's edition, and thank God I did, because, wow, are those really expensive. But also, it's such a fantastic game. It is one of my favorite games of all time.
It's crazy to think that that has really, like, shaped you now as a gamer.
Turns out I really love RPGs, man. Who would have thought?
That's awesome. I have a game you definitely wouldn't have thought because I've never talked about it on the show, but X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Good one.
This is a tie-in to the movie that came out in 2009. It is developed by Raven Software, published by Activision. It was on the 360 and the PS3, and then it was also on PS2, Wii, PSP, DS, and of course PC, because PC gets everything.
Jeez.
I'm gonna assume here that the PC, the 360, and the PS3 are like the real versions, and then everything else probably had to get some kind of... Like, it's probably not as good on all the older consoles and handhelds and stuff.
Right.
This is a hack and slash game that is really one of the best licensed games that I've ever played. It is so incredibly good, and it's well known for being incredibly good. The combat is just like so good. Like, you have light and heavy attacks, you've got grabs, you've got special attacks, typical hack and slash things. But this game is incredibly violent. Like, Disney was not in the picture yet, right? Like, they were like, yeah, dude, go all in. Make this an M-rated Wolverine true game here, and it's really brutal. There's this lunge attack that is so fun to do. It's basically like you do like this giant like Hulk-sized jump over the map to like lunge at someone and just start messing them up, man. It's ridiculous. It's got that typical RPG tree that every game has where you can start like spending skill points that you acquire from leveling up. Very gory, over the top, brutal game, which is what a Wolverine game should be. It takes some of the movie plot but also combines a whole bunch of stuff from the comic books to make like one, unique story, one interesting story.
So it's not canon.
Right. Some levels take place in the present, so he's got the adamantium claws, and then some takes place in the past when he's still got the bone claws, which is very cool.
That's neat.
It's level based. It is truly an amazing licensed game that's never going to be ported because licensed stuff doesn't get ported. Would recommend.
That sounds incredible. How difficult is it?
It wasn't too bad.
Okay, well, let me ask that again. How difficult would it be for me?
Hannah, I think you play so many video games. I think you are a top tier gamer.
Thank
and
you.
There's probably an easy mode.
Okay, thank you. Okay, cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions, I had none.
I also had none. Popular titles we didn't mention. There's so many other X-Men games. There was Xenogears is very popular. And XCOM. That's the big one when you Google X Games. People love XCOM, and I don't really know a single thing about that series.
It's the one about the aliens, right?
There is certainly an alien on the cover of one of the games.
Nice. Nailed it.
Moving on to Y, and I think you have to be going with a certain N64 game, huh?
Nope. Y was very, very difficult for me. I have 3 bangers that are like super good games on my top 10 list. I'll mention the honorable mentions first. We got Ys, all the Ys games really, but specifically Lacrimosa of Donna, which got me into the Ys series. in the first place. It is incredible. Plot twists everywhere. It had me on the edge of my seat the entire game. Okay, loved it. That's also one I'd like to experience again for the first time. The second one, which is the one that you're referring to, is Yoshi's Story. Also incredible. Yoshi travels around platforms, wakes up sleeping babies, eats fruit. How could you not love that one? Also really good. But the one that I picked is Yu-Gi-Oh! Worldwide Edition Stairway to the Destined Duel. And if you're thinking, wow, damn, that's a mouthful. You're right.
Let's freaking go.
So it's a traditional Yu-Gi-Oh! Card battling game, which me and you have both played. I'm sure everyone has at least some point in their life, which seems obvious that I'm saying that, but some of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games are freaking wild in their concepts. Like, I've played tactical RPG Yu-Gi-Ohs, and I don't know, I guess it was fine. Released in the States on April 15th of 2003 for the Game Boy Advance, which is the version I played, but I did not know that it's actually a censored version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters 6 Expert 2, which released in Japan. Whoa. I know, right? December of 2001. Now, I specifically looked at what was censored, and I don't know. It was probably clothing, cleavage, or like guns, or like something along those lines, or drugs, or whatever that's too sensitive for little American children. But I couldn't find specifically what it was. Developed and published by Konami, of course. They still have that license, I believe. The game takes place in the Battle City arc of the manga and anime series, which is also incredible. Okay, I've watched the whole... I guess I haven't watched all of them, but I watched all of the first, like the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which is the best. So good. Anyway. Gameplay, the main focus of the game is participating in tournaments and collecting cards, of course. You can pick your opponents throughout like the week, so it's like week based. So every week or every day you can pick a different duelist to duel, and then it moves on to the next day. But every so often you'll come across a ghoul, which are like the evil card people. After defeating 5 ghouls, the story progresses, and you have to save some of your friends from the evil duelist hands. It's very simple story, right? If you've ever watched the anime, you know exactly what kind of story it is. It's about good and evil and the heart of the cards and friendship and love. You know what I'm saying? All about that. The other big thing in the game is the tournaments. So there are several different cups and tournaments that you must beat or win in order to beat the game. You start off by picking one of 3 pre-made decks, and you obviously get more cards by booster packs after you beat any kind of duelist or win a tournament. You get like special ones, so that's fun. So you really get to like build out your deck as you go. Also, fun fact, the game features a password system for every single card in the game, which is 1,086 total. So
what?
If you just look up the password, then you can unlock any card you want, which is total cheating. It's really fun to kind of like, that's part of the game, is picking out the cards that you win. You're like, ooh, I'm going to trade this out for this one, or I'm going to make this kind of card deck, blah, 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 blah. So it takes away from that. But, of course, me being me, I looked up if I could pick one card that I needed right now, that's the best card in the game. So I entered the password, and it's called United We Stand, which shouldn't be allowed. It feels like it's cheating. But for every face-up monster you control, you increase the attack and the defense of the monster equipped with that card by 800 points. So, like, super overpowered. Super great. Makes the gameplay super easy. I think I've beat this game a total of like a gajillion times, but it's still fun every single time. So good.
What is the name of this one specifically?
Of this game? Worldwide Edition, Stairway to the Destined Duel.
Okay, I feel like I probably have that. There's like more than 10 on the GBA alone. I think it's ridiculous.
There's like a skrillion, and also, so you know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is coming out with a new collection called like the Early Days collection or whatever. So this is one of them, but it's not called Worldwide Edition. It's called Duel Monsters 6 Expert 2. So I would pick that up day one.
Isn't this collection going to be Japanese exclusive games or something?
So a lot of them are, yeah. So I think this one specifically, obviously it got, I don't know, remade or whatever, or released over here as a censored version. So yes. So I don't know if it's like the original uncensored version. I assume it is. That was only released in Japan.
Dang, I gotta play this one. This one sounds pretty sick.
It's so good. And I especially like it because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has kind of evolved if you actually played like the physical card game, to something that is very confusing. Like, we played the newer one, and some of the concepts were like, what in the hell is happening? But one, this one's the original rules, the original stuff, and two, the game knows the rules, right? So like, it'll tell you what you can and can't do, which is the gloriousness of digital Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I do love the idea of playing classic Yu-Gi-Oh. You know, I don't. There are literally thousands, right? I'm pretty sure there are thousands of cards now, and I can't sit there. I start to lose interest when I have to read every single card, and it's like a paragraph, and it's like, how do I. You know, it's going to take some studying to start playing this video game. The idea of playing a GBA game like this that just has the old cards, that sounds like right up my alley.
It is so fun. If you got addicted to the other Yu-Gi-Oh game, which of course we did, then you're going to love this one. It's classic. You already know all of the cards because you've already seen all of them a gajillion times. It's the classic ones.
Yeah. The other Yu-Gi-Oh game she's referencing is whatever is on the Switch.
I don't remember what it's called.
Remember the name of it. Eternal Duelist. I don't know.
And then the other one is Duel Masters, I think. That's on like PC and everything now too. That one's also confusing. We got addicted to that one too, if you recall.
Yeah, we played for like 8 hours, and then I never played it again.
Yep. Yep, that's usually how it goes.
Heck yeah. Good choice there.
Thank you.
I definitely thought Ease was going to make it, if not Yoshi's Story, but
sorry.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Wild card.
That's a big letter for you.
Yes, it was. It was a hard decision. That was the only one that I actually cared about. Well, S2, I guess.
I had to go with Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U.
Nice choice.
This was a 2015 release, October 2015, developed by Good Feel and published by Nintendo for the Wii U, and it later came, actually less than a year later, I think, it came to 3DS, which I didn't realize it was that quick, but yeah, it came to 3DS in the form of Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yeah,
where
that's
probably
the one
even less people played it.
that came with the Poochie amiibo. I have that one.
You have that bundle?
I do.
Dude, I have a saved search because I really want that bundle. It's not cheap.
It's literally it's not super beat up, but it's literally a smashed up copy that I found in the cabinet at Walmart like 5 years after its release, and I was like, certainly it's clearanced. It wasn't, but doesn't matter. It was still a deal.
I think I remember that. You probably told that 4 years ago on the freaking podcast.
Definitely.
This is a really freaking good 2D platformer where everything in the world is made of yarn. It is a pretty challenging game. Like, it's not too easy. I thought that they did a good job of like making it look adorable and cute without making it easy as like dirt, and like an adult can play it without, you know, without his little brother or something playing with him. Like, it was a good game for people that loved Yoshi and grew up with Yoshi and are now adults and stuff. Obviously there's an easy mode for people that want to play with their kids or whatever. It's lots of stuff to collect, just like every Yoshi game. It has, I looked it up, there's 30 items in every level, which, you know, I love it. I don't always go complete a game the first time I play through it, but I love having the ability to go back and replay, like, especially Mario games. I've probably done this with almost every Mario, 2D Mario. Like, I'll play through the game once and then I'll go back and just collect everything. I love doing that.
That's psychopath behavior. Literally never done that.
Interesting. Oh yeah, finding every collectible is definitely challenging. I've never actually done it for this game, but yeah, definitely more challenging than like Mario games are like, go get these 3 big coins and that'll be it. But this game, it's crazy. There's so much to collect and it's great. Co-op was the only downside of this game. They got it right in the Crafted World on Switch, but this game was, I don't remember what the issue was. I just remember that it was not something I could sit through. It was kind of like, I don't know, it wasn't made very well. I remember like struggling to have both players on the screen or something. It was annoying.
That's a shame.
Easily the most charming game you've ever played. Amiibo support was really good because you could literally add any Yoshi character based on any amiibo, and so they would just like create a yarn version of Link. If it wouldn't be. Well, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. They would create a yarn Yoshi that like had the theme of Link, and you could do Mario, you could do Peach. I'm trying to think of non-Mario characters. Rob the Robot. Like, they had all these different Yoshis. Every single one was programmed into the game, and it was awesome.
Ugh, that's so cool.
And, you scan them in one time, and then they're on your game permanently, and you can switch to them and play as them anytime.
That's fantastic. At that point, I guess there weren't that many amiibo, but dang, that took a lot of time.
Yeah, 2015. I mean, Smash was out. There were probably a lot out.
Dang.
Yeah, some parts of the levels give Yoshi special transformations, which is something you see a lot in Yoshi games. Like, you can turn into a motorcycle, you can turn into an umbrella, and that helps you get through certain parts of the levels. Highly recommend if you are a fan of 2D platformers. This is a great game.
I feel like I would have liked that one much more than I liked Crafted World. Crafted World was beautiful, gorgeous, right up my alley in terms of visual, but like way too easy.
Yeah, Crafted World and Kirby Star Allies were those early Switch platformers that were like way too easy, man.
Kirby Star Allies pisses me off. At least Crafted World was beautiful to look at.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Hate that game. Stupid. Any
honorable mentions? You already gave them. I've talked about this game. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair is another incredible 2D platformer that starts with the letter Y.
Oh, and not to be confused with the other one, that's 3D platforming.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is getting a remaster.
What?
Probably 2025.
Why?
It's getting a Yooka-Replayly is the name of the remaster.
I hate it. A+ for creativity, but I hate it. No.
It's hard to say. I have to say it's slow.
Yooka-Replayly? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yooka-Replayly. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I like it.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Yu-Gi-Oh! If you didn't, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
So many Yu-Gi-Oh! Titles. Like, so many. I hope this collection has, like, literally all the ones that only came out in Japan. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would. I'm enticed, and I bet it's not even going to be $60.
It's not. I think it's $40.
And is it physical?
Ugh, yeah, of course.
Good job, Konami. Let's go.
I agree. Super appreciative. They haven't released the official cover yet, though. It's literally just a black cover with the title on it. So, hoping for something amazing.
Didn't they literally just announce more games coming to that collection like a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I don't really know what their strategy is here. They announced like 3 games and they're like, and more, wink, wink, and then they just keep randomly announcing more. I don't know if
they don't even know.
Yeah, how many can we fit on this little cartridge? I don't know yet. Figure it out as we go.
I'm enticed. I might have to get that as well.
Totally worth it. Will it be on sale like maybe a couple months after release? Yes, but can I wait that long? No. No, I can't.
All right, we're gonna tag Team Z because Hannah cheated and looked at my notes, and we know that we matched on a game. So Z is tough, Even when I'm looking on Reddit, it's like, what are the best Z games? And people are like, Zelda, hello, and he's like, no, that's not what I freaking meant, idiot.
Ding dong.
But there is one Zelda game that fits this criteria, and we went with it. It is Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
Yes, loopholes.
Developed in 1987, or I don't know when it was developed. It was released in 1987 in Japan, came to the NES in North America in 1988. Developed by Nintendo R&D 4. Over in Japan, it was actually a disk system game, Famicom disk system game. Over here, it came out on the cartridge. And yeah, take it away, Hannah. What do you have to say for us?
Well, it was re-released. Well, it's been re-released a gajillion times. You can literally play it on anything. But the way that I played it, it was re-released on the GameCube on the Zelda's Collector's Edition disc. So that was cool. It included the first game, the second game, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and then a preview of Wind Waker. So that was cool. That released in 2003. And then the game was re-released again on the Game Boy Advance. That was the second time I tried to play it, and I realized I hated it then too. But it's considered like the dark horse of this series. It is described as an action RPG and platforming game, so I feel like it's right up your alley. So it's weird that you haven't played it.
Hannah, it's my favorite Z game of all time. I've
Right.
played it a little bit.
Right. I too played it a little bit, and I said, "This is not for me," and put it down twice almost immediately because it's hard. It is super difficult. I am not a 2D person, right? We've made that very clear. I also don't really like the like hack and slashy-esque kind of way of these old 2D platforming games. It's just it's not for me. But anyway, the game is mostly side-scrolling, which is a departure from the first game, which is mostly, well, it's all top-down. This does have top-down proportions in the world map, but it's only like for navigation, and kind of like getting to towns and like getting to caves and stuff like that. In the overworld, though, like enemies will pop up at random, and then if you run into them, it'll transport you to a side-scrolling-esque area, so you can beat those enemies if you want. Not turn-based, obviously, it's just more like hack and slashy kind of. Combat is way more involved in this one. It's like you have to really perfectly time your attacks. You got to use your shield and your sword, and you got to different attacks. You can like, I can't remember what it's called. Dang it! But there's like attacks where you jump up, attacks where you crouch down. You got to deploy your shield at specific points. Super involved. Not my kind of thing.
There's magic, isn't there?
Yeah. So it features, like I said, strategic combat, experience points, magic spells, and more interaction with non-player characters, which you didn't really see in the first one. You saw like the old man who gave you the sword, and then he kicks you out of his cave, and that's basically it in the first one. It also introduced the magic meter, which we said, and Dark Link, who makes an appearance in several games after that. Like RPGs, you gain experience points by defeating enemies, and then you can upgrade your attack, magic, and life stats. Unlike the other games in the series where you can only upgrade your health by collecting hearts or like beating an enemy. That's a staple in the later, well, actually in every other game in the series. Let's see, what else have I got here? Yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say about that specifically. Unless there's anything you want to add.
I have played like enough of it to where it's the only Z game I've ever played probably, but like I haven't played barely any of it. It is a game that is like infamous, you know. It was that era where people were still trying to figure out what they want to do with the series. You know, you had your Mario, and then Mario 2 came out, and you're like, what the heck is this? At least in America. You had Castlevania. You had the freaking Zelda franchise. They were still experimenting a little bit before they would release the game and then be like, oh yeah, people don't like that. Let's go back to what we did the first time.
Right.
And yeah, I will play it for history's sake one of these days, one of these years, but I'm not in a rush. I'm not excited about it.
Yeah, it's the only Z game that I've played, and I've picked it up twice now, and every time I'm like, okay, I can do this. Fan of Zelda, I can do this. I want to get to the story because it's an actual sequel from the first NES game. It's the same link, it follows the same story, it's in the same part of the timeline, blah blah blah. I was like, I can do this, and then every time I just get my ass kicked, time and time and time again, over and over and over again, and I'm like, you know what? It's not for me, and I accept that. But coming from a Zelda fan who's played every other game except for Wind Waker, I just can't do that one either. I feel like I really need to play it. But I do have some fun facts that I forgot. So obviously, like we said, it's produced by Miyamoto himself. He wanted this game to be fundamentally different than the first game in the series, so he assembled a completely new team, which is why it has a completely different feel. So that's interesting.
That's what R&D 4 is?
Yes. So it was R&D 3 before, and now it was 4. No, I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm sure it's something like that. It's considered one of the greatest NES games of all time. I don't know who you're talking to. It's not me. It's one of the first games to combine RPG and platforming elements together in one game, which I thought was interesting. It's a pioneer back in those days, too. And as far as lore goes, it is the game that introduced the Triforce of Courage, which is going to come up in a gajillion other the games. Not in every game, but like Ocarina of Time. It's kind of big-ish in Breath of the Wild, but like not super heavy. But yeah, it shows up in lots of games after that. So yeah.
And that is all we will ever talk about with Zelda 2 on this podcast.
Unless we actually play it. Now, wouldn't that be fun?
I will play it. You mean for the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Yep, that would be pretty brutal.
That's worse than Mario and Luigi's final boss for sure. Like, the whole game is like that.
Zelda 2, is it as bad as they say?
Yes.
Popular title we didn't mention. I couldn't even find that many, but Zoo Tycoon is one that I've always been fascinated by. Just because I'm into management games now, but the only Zoo Tycoon I actually own is on DS, and it's got like a Metacritic score of like 54, so
so it's
won't
good.
be playing that one.
So it's great. Dang. The only ones that I have are Zack and Wiki, which is a Wii game. That's kind of like a collector's thing. Zombie U, which is a zombie game on the Wii U. I think has really cool gameplay with the gamepad. I could be wrong, never played it. And that's it.
Coincidentally, I was just watching a Wii U video yesterday, and he was going into Zombie U, and it's pretty interesting. It definitely has some cool gamepad incorporation. I think it was a launch title, actually.
Yeah, and you can buy it for like $5 now, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Super nice.
What was the other one you said?
Zack and Wiki.
Oh, yeah, that's a Capcom title. It's a point-and-click adventure that I have. It's just one of those games that people are like, oh, this is a hidden gem. You got to play it. I haven't played it yet, but it looks pretty good.
Oh, so still a hidden gem then.
Yeah, still a hidden gem. All right, so those are our 26 games. We should have written down what all 26 of them were and gone through the list real quick. That would have been good, but
or
we didn't.
You can watch the 6 hours that we did before this. Figure it out.
You now have 8 hours of content of our favorite games from A to Z.
Gosh.
Don't say we didn't do anything for you.
That's true.
Okay, so for listener responses, on Instagram, Hannah asked, what is your favorite game that starts with the letter S? And I'm assuming we got some responses.
Yeah, we did. S is a super easy one to do, so we got lots of stuff. So let me just read them all, and apologize if I butcher your name, because it's inevitable. We got Natorious7 says Sonic Adventure. Disagree, but
there it is.
You know. We have JD the Mighty Me Sprit says
Mesprit
Super Mario
is a Pokemon, Hannah. It is a Pokemon named Mesprit, you freaking noob.
Oh my god. Well, now I look like an idiot. Well, what is it? In Gen 9?
Gen 4, bro. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl.
Okay, well, I'll say that Pokemon totally lost my interest after Gen 2. Gen 3, I can kind of hang on. Gen 4, absolutely not. Trash.
Tell
Garbage.
me the freaking response, you loser.
Garbage. They said Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Absolutely, JD. That is an excellent game.
We got Ben Strohecker says Sniper Elite series.
Oh, yeah. He's always talking about that series. I don't know anything about it.
All right. Now we got Ludiclude. Is that a Pokemon too? It says Super Mario World. Good choice. Good choice. We got F.E. Knuckle or Iron Knuckle. Haha. Says Sekiro Shadows Die twice. Very challenging and rewarding.
Literally before we started recording, that game Nope, I always mix that game up with Ghost of Tsushima. That is
Mm-mm.
not the same game. Anyways, good
Yep.
choice.
What you're going to say is that it just got a sequel announced at the State of Play, right?
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was following the Twitter thread. We got QBaller17 says Spider-Man for the PS4. Good choice. Good choice.
Nice.
We got Airy Mac 517 says Splatoon because it is very nostalgic for me. That's also a good one. That was a good one for us too.
Nostalgic for 10 years ago makes me feel old.
I would have said Splatoon 2 because that one is infinitely better in my mind, but good choice as well. We got Vino_Dario says Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That's a great one too. Fantastic.
You've played KOTOR? I've always wanted to play it.
I have it on the Xbox, and I made my little cousin play it, and he was not interested.
Nice story.
Yes, thank you. We got Real Chunky Monkey says Super Mario Odyssey. That would have been my second choice had I picked Super Mario 4S. Odyssey was still waiting for that sequel.
Yeah, dude. What a killer freaking game.
We got Starbreaker 88 says Super Metroid. Great choice.
Very good choice.
We have the Unfun Gamer says Super Mario Bros. And he says the why is because it's the game that made him a gamer.
That's fair.
And then this one was funny, and I'm going to read it in 2 seconds. It said, this is from Nothing Like Classics. It said, Skate 3 solely because my friend made his character look like Jesus Christ and threw him off some buildings. And I said, that's hilarious. A+ for creativity.
Have you ever played Skate?
I have not.
I have never played it. I know they're bringing it back now. I have never played that series.
Is it as good as Tony Hawk? Don't know.
It seems like a lot of people think so.
That would be fun. I'm never going to say no to more skateboarding games on current consoles. Ever. That's all. That's all I got.
Oh. Good choices, guys. That was an easy one for sure. And thank you for the responses. Hannah asked on Discord, what is your favorite game that starts with the letter T? Tony Hawk's Underground, Chef's Kiss from Now I Rock a Teller Suit. He said, felt like this is when the series peaked with its expanded variety of tricks, levels, and storyline.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Was Bam Margera a big part of that game? Was he in it?
Couldn't tell you. I don't think so.
Because he's like half of the story mode. Like he makes a huge part of the story mode in Underground 2.
I don't think he's in the first one, no.
Daily Beating says, assuming subtitles don't count, Three Houses and Tears of the Kingdom falling under Fire Emblem and Legend of Zelda.
It doesn't.
They don't. I would have to say Tales of Arise. I had never played the Tales series before taking a chance on Arise, and it blew away my expectations.
Wow.
Really great characters, combat was super flashy, and the story was intriguing and tackled some deep subjects, slavery and racism, while also managing to find some more lighthearted, funny character moments. Anime title screen opening was so good I watched it every time I turned the game on.
Dang.
That was an excellent paragraph. I loved every minute of that. That was good. He also shouted out Tetris Effect Connected. The first level is one of my favorite video game levels, period.
Dang. Yeah, Tales of Arise is not on the Switch, but I've played some of the older games in the series, and they were okay. It wasn't necessarily something for me, but, that one sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I know, right? If anyone described a game that way, I'd be like, heck yes, sign me up.
Dang.
Yeah, I remember that came out. I'm pretty sure that game got great reviews. And yeah, Tetris Effect, I love that game. It wasn't my favorite T game, but that is an excellent video game.
It's on Switch now, too, isn't it?
I would be surprised if it wasn't.
Okay. Cool.
And Verdant Sea, also known as Viridian Waves, probably Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, but get this, for the GBA.
Wow. Okay. Bold choice.
It blew away my child mind and looked amazing on that tiny handheld. It was the first time I'd seen a 3D done well on a Game Boy, and somehow they made that isometric 3D perspective work, and with a high frame rate to boot. It was a ton of fun to skate around the map and connect tricks. The physics worked surprisingly well while jumping around. I entertained myself for hours and hours with that game. It's a shame they didn't use that engine for other sports games at the time, like a snowboarding game, at least on the GBA.
Snowboarding would have been fun. I remember back in the day, I did play a Tony Hawk game on the Game Boy Advance, and I wasn't impressed. I didn't like it. I was like, what is this? I expected the 3D.
Well, you must not have played... not have played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Hannah.
It's not. Clearly, that's the best one in all forms. I mean, let's be honest.
I also remember playing some isometric handheld Tony Hawk. Don't remember which one, but yeah, reading this response makes me want to go check it out. I'm pretty sure I have it. It's pretty cool.
Do it. Stream it.
That would be fun.
There you go. See?
I guess on that little GBA speaker, you probably miss out on all the great songs that they added to those games over the years.
Dude, that was one of the best parts of 2.
Yeah.
Great songs.
Well, thank you all for the Instagram and Discord responses. You can follow Hannah on Instagram, or you can join the Discord and you can get your listener responses in for future episodes.
Yeah, we'll try to do it not 2 days before. It's our bad.
Let's go into the news.
Do you have any news, or is it all me?
I got some good news.
Okay. You want to start?
Yeah. Let's alternate this time. So, the Rayman board game got crowdfunded, or it launched on Kickstarter like a week ago. It was fulfilled in 33 minutes. So good freaking job, Rayman fan base.
Dang. So there's like 6 of you?
This is a lot of money, and I'm honestly not sure if I want to go for it yet. Clock is ticking on the Kickstarter. I mean, if I want like the highest tier, Hannah, I have to spend like $250, and it's just a board game that I literally probably will never play. I don't know if I can convince myself to do it.
You just congratulated the Rayman fans, and you're like, nah, I don't want any part of that. Guess you're not a fan.
What do you got?
Nintendo is officially 135 years old. Yay!
Woo! Party popper?
Ka-chow! Yes. That's what I got. It's the best part of the news.
I really want some Nintendo Hanafuda cards. I think that would be a cool thing for the shelf.
Dude, one day we'll go.
PlayStation State of Play was a few hours ago. The only thing I really cared about, and I'm not even that concerned about it, is the Lunar Collection. Did you see that?
I did.
That looks really pretty. Those games are expensive, so I'm sure that'll help collectors out in the long run. Those were like Sega CD games, I want to say Sega Saturn games, PS1 games. I couldn't tell you which ones were on which platform, but the first 2 games are being brought to PS4 and PS5, maybe other platforms, and I think that's really cool.
That is really neat. It's RPG, yes, but is it tactical or turn-based or?
It's not a tactical game. It's probably turn-based, I'm going to say, but I don't know.
They all are. Makes me sad. Let's see. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are suing Pal World developers Pocket Pair over their game.
And somehow it is now on PS5 as of today.
Yep, I saw that. But last I checked, it's not for the reason that you think. It's not because their electric mouse looks like Nintendo's electric mouse. I think it's because of the mechanic of the throwing a Pokeball or whatever to catch a Pokemon. Like, Nintendo has
Yeah.
that patented. Like, that's their thing. They did that. And so now they're like, well, we're coming after you. Interesting, huh?
I mean, they did something very bold. Nobody was looking at patents when they made that game. Like, they could have done some more research, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very bold move to make. They have certainly made a splash to threaten Nintendo's, sales, I guess. Like, people played that and they're like, why does Pokemon Sword and no, what is it? Scarlet and Violet look like it's like is a Wii game
like
with
shit.
these graphics and this frame rate. And meanwhile,
Right.
like this monkey over here is holding a gun at 60 frames a second like yeah.
Now, as much as I am a Nintendo fan, I think probably, or in a Pokemon fan in general, I think that this will maybe push them in the right direction to actually like step it up. Clearly they
Yeah.
see that there is a market for Pokemon with guns. So maybe they'll do something, maybe not like that, but something different. We'll see.
I played like 10 hours of Pal World and I'm pretty sure the game is still in beta, but it's a fun game for sure. I enjoyed my time with it.
I tried and it basically broke my computer, so I had to undownload it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Mario and Luigi Brothership is getting an exclusive slipcover in Canada at GameStop.
Dude, I saw that. Had I known that I was going to go to Canada, I would have told my family, hey, let's not go now. Let's go when this game comes out so I can pick it up from a Canadian GameStop.
That didn't even cross my mind when I brought up that bullet point.
I know, I missed it. Just a couple of days. Month,
So the
week.
Paper Mario one from a few months ago kind of blew up in price and people were like really seeking that freaking slipcover. I have no doubt that this will be the same situation.
Dang, I missed it. Sad about it. Okay, I only
Are you getting
have...
that game?
No, of course not. No. If I was in Canada and got the slipcover, yeah. Now, nah. Pass. Let's see. 4 new Super Nintendo games were added to Nintendo Switch Online. Battletoads Double Dragon. We got Big Run. I've never heard of that one. Actually, I've never heard of any of these. Cosmo Gang the Puzzle. Yeah. And Kunio-kun no Dodgeball. What are these choices? Who's making these decisions?
I have no comment on any of those. Not excited about them.
Nope.
We got PS5 Pro got announced. It's $700. The memes are amazing.
Agreed.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's all I got.
That's it for you?
Yeah, it was it.
In the same vein, PS5 30th anniversary hardware is coming. So we've got the PS5 Pro. We've got the PS5 Slim digital edition. Maybe it's not the Slim. It's the PS5 digital is coming out for sure. Meaning that you have to separately purchase a... What the heck just happened on FaceTime?
Balloons just popped up.
There is there's a bunch of PS5, PS1 looking stuff for the 30th anniversary of PlayStation. You can pre-order that next month, I think. It's going to be impossible to get. You're going to get scalped to death, but it all looks really nice and it's really expensive.
$700 nice? I don't think so.
And then Concord came out and then got recalled at a record-breaking speed. I think that game came out after our last episode, and as of this current episode, you cannot play Concord anymore. So that game was short-lived.
Dang. It was a couple days? A week?
Yeah, that was the funniest situation I don't know, really crazy thing that happened this year in PlayStation history.
Wah, wah.
That's it for me. Let's move into the section where we talk about what we've been buying, what we've been playing. Hannah.
Yeah.
I've been buying a lot of stuff this month. Have you been buying a lot of stuff this month?
No. Shocker. The only thing that I have bought, and I'm super excited for because it comes out very soon, Echoes of Wisdom, Legend of Zelda. How could I not? Day
Which
one
pre-order
purchase.
bonus are you getting?
Well, dang, now I forgot. Doesn't matter. I think I got it from Best Buy, so it's the little acrylic stand.
That's a cool one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
What
right.
about you? Day one purchase? Hold on.
Prob
Hold on. Let's discuss this. Are you buying it day one?
I don't think so.
Dang. I'm disappointed.
Well, originally, a week ago, I was like, man, I don't think I'm gonna be ready for Zelda in time because I was still like really into Visions of Mana. It didn't look like I was near the end. Now I'm like a day away from Visions of Mana being over. Maybe like 3 hours left in that game. Maybe I am ready for Zelda.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I need to reassess and I need to do it quickly so that I can get one of the cool pre-order bonuses.
Yeah, you're darn right. Don't sleep on it.
Dang. Yeah, I'm gonna have major FOMO on Thursday if I don't have the game.
Yep.
Here's what I got, Hannah. Mega Man ZX Advent. This is a DS game that
Wow.
is fun looking.
Pretty cover.
I got Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
I have never heard of that.
It's a freaking RPG. It is the only Sega Sonic RPG. I don't know anything about it other than that. It's probably turn-based. I have no idea. It's really weird spin-off. Yoshi Touch and Go. I'm excited about this. I love Yoshi. We just talked
Nice
about
one.
Yoshi. This game looks really fun, and it got really good reviews back in the day.
Really? That's surprising.
It is surprising, because usually these gimmicky games don't get great reviews, but IGN gave it like an 8 or a 9 or something.
Dang.
And then the first Rune Factory game. I told you about this one.
Yeah, you're going to play it, right?
So, interestingly enough, I didn't know this when I bought it, but the game is the Canadian version, and usually that just means like an extra line of text on the cover, but this is a fully different manual. It's got French and English text, and it is a big, thick boy of a manual.
Dang.
And there's like so many inserts in here, and craziest part, dude, it's a DS game with a registration card. I didn't even know they made them in the DS era.
Whoa.
So yeah.
Dang.
I'm
That's
not
neat.
going to mention all the crap I bought. There's a lot of garbage in here. There's a lot of good
Holy
stuff
smokes.
in here too.
That's a huge stack.
Check this out. There's a DS game called Master of Illusion. It is a big box DS game from Nintendo, literally published by Nintendo.
Huh.
And it appears to be some kind of like, it includes a pack of trading cards, so I think it teaches you like how to do magic tricks or something.
Did you get the trading cards?
Yeah, they're in here.
Ooh.
Master of Illusion cards included. It looks like a regular pack of 52 cards, but yeah, I don't know anything about this game. I've never heard a single person talk about it, but it is published by Nintendo, and I'm pretty fascinated by it. You can buy this whole big box for like $15. Like, this is so cheap.
So it's not rare.
Not rare.
Dang.
I got two more to show here. We got, what is this?
Reckless.
Reckless, the Yakuza missions.
Ooh.
GameCube game.
Nice.
And my 504th GameCube game, we have Metabots Infinity.
Never heard of it.
I think it's got to be based on a cartoon or an anime or something.
It's pretty cover.
And I now have 50 GameCube games remaining.
Dang.
So that's exciting.
That's incredible. So
Please
close.
rejoice.
It'll only take you 10 more years.
I'm thinking 2025, Hannah.
Really? We better get buying.
Yes, ma'am. But as far as like been playing, I already mentioned Visions of Mana. 35 hours of the last 3 weeks went into that, and very close to beating it, like I said. So you guys pretty much know my thoughts on it at this point. Great Mana game. I'm happy.
Dang. I have been playing Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I talked about it at length last month, so I won't say anything else. Just that it's difficult. But it's still fun. Still enjoying it. It's not super repetitive yet. Hasn't bored me yet, which usually happens with these kind of RPGs. But alas, it's still really good. And the story, still really good.
I guess you probably took a long break when you were vacationing.
I did. I try to play it on the airplane, but I get car sick, so I can't. But
Oh, yeah.
jumped right back in. Super easy. Like nothing, like I wasn't even away.
I'm glad you're enjoying it still. That's awesome.
Will I play other ones in the series? I don't know. Probably not.
What about Persona? Are you intrigued by Persona?
I think if I do play another one in the Shin Megami Tensei franchise or realm, it would be Persona 5. But I think Royal's on the Switch. So I do Persona 5 Royal or is it Persona 5S? I don't remember. One of those. Whatever one's on the Switch. Not the tactical one and not the other one. Not the hack and slashy one. Like the real one. The RPG one.
Yeah. Okay.
One day, though.
Well, we had a goal of keeping this under 2 hours, and we freaking did it. So high five, Hannah.
Woohoo! Yes. Just barely, though. But it ended right now.
For whatever reason, our last 2 episodes of this little mini series were 3 hours. Like, it was crazy.
6 hours total. So 8 hours total now with the whole.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I mentioned it in the intro before the intro. We are doing a 5-year celebration in November. So we're going to... Do we want to spoil the topic or not yet?
Nah, not yet.
Okay, but we will be doing a giveaway of some sort, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, 5 years. Next
Dang.
month we're doing not a spooky episode, but it is Halloween-ish.
It is
I guess we can spoil that
themed.
one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell me again. What is it?
It's dead games that no one knows about.
Yeah, so the word dead is the only thing making it Halloween-y, but yeah.
Right. Well, we did Raised from the Dead last time, so now you have to do just dead. Dead that are gone forever dead.
There you go. Yeah, so we got plenty of content planned, and we will see you guys oh, wait, where can the people follow you, Hannah?
I think you should say it since you're so good at it.
The Game Girl Advance, or not the Game Girl, at Game Girl Advance SP on Instagram. Man, I messed it up, didn't I?
Beautiful. Dude, you did, which is funny.
Where can the people follow me? I'm at Bird Dog Gaming on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. And we appreciate you guys. Please rate, review the podcast. If you're like 2 hours into this show, man, you're a true fan. We could really use a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts right now. I'm just saying. If you want to help out, it's free. It's generous. It's free.
Please.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next month for another episode.
See ya.